Hello, friends. A while ago, we started on a journey together looking at 7 things to give attention to when building strong relationships. This is the 7th Friday, and we'll be looking at the last topic in the series, which I have titled The Controversies in Marriage. I warmly welcome you all to the 87th episode of Ask Pastor Nike. I am Nike Ayola. Ephesians chapter 5 contains several verses that speak to how the husband and wife are supposed to conduct their relationship to create the heaven on earth haven that God intended for all marriages. And even though several verses from this chapter receive a lot of emphasis and are the text scriptures for a lot of wedding sermons, the little talked about verses 25 and 26 actually spell out the expectation of the divine for our marriage covenant relationships. From the New Living Translation, it says, "For husbands, this means love your wives, just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her to make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of God's word." Now, can we honestly answer this question? How does Christ love the church? Can we all agree that it is deliberately, intentionally, and by choice? Knowing everything about her, seeing her filth and unworthiness, being aware of her inconsistencies and periodic unfaithfulness, he still chooses to love her. He looks beyond her apparent shortcomings, and please note that I said looks and not looked, because it is both current and ongoing. Jesus looks beyond her apparent shortcomings and sees the treasure she's capable of becoming. He loves her with covenanted commitment. Nothing will make him give up or walk away. He's in it for the longest haul. His commitment is beyond how he feels per time, beyond emotions that rise and fall based on events and circumstances. I admit that the fact that you can count on someone to always be there, can very often leave them vulnerable and open to being taken for granted. But that's exactly what Jesus does. He lays down his life so she, who is undeserving, can live. Many people see only the rosy side of marriage. Men particularly latch on to the idea of command and control based on the requirement of the wife submitting to her husband. They sidestep the truth that leadership is first about responsibility, about example, about considering yourself last, not first. And it's not really the fault of a lot of us, because leadership in the society is no longer about serving. The aspiring leader comes to position with the mindset that they are there to work solely for their personal profit. And whatever gets to the people they took an oath to serve are the crumbs that fall off the overflowing table they preside over. And then the followers, unfortunately, also have the mindset that they are only entitled to those crumbs alone, so their expectations are either non-existent or completely warped. And this is further compounded by the fact that the leaders expect the ruled to have no expectations of them. It's a full circle of evil and leadership failure. Many of us have brought the same mindset and expectations into marriage. And honestly, it flows down from the top. Just check out how many men are not rebuked or punished for bad behavior while the women are told to endure. Look where we are today. I believe there is no harm in saying this one more time. The devotion of the church to her bridegroom is in response to the love he has first given. And in the same manner, the love of the husband for his wife is supposed to be what births and sustains her submission to his leadership. Every husband must remember that. Now I want to read the same verses again, and this time call the attention of all women who are wives or intend to be someday to what it says. Ephesians 5:25 and 6 says, "For husbands, this means love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her to make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of God's word." The greatest loss the church can suffer will be from not submitting fully and totally to the lordship of her bridegroom, Jesus Christ, because she knows better or for whatever reason. The husband has a deposit of grace upon his life to lead his family straight from the hand of God. And the earlier we learn to recognize, respect, and allow that grace to function and bloom, the better it will be for both of us and especially for our kids. Sister, it's not about how smart, intelligent, connected, or enterprising you are. It's not about your pedigree or whether you are from old or new money. It's beyond your college degrees or your position at your job, the success of your business enterprise, or whether you are earning more money. Listen to what the preacher says in Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 11. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. As far as marriage is concerned, we can see that it's about grace. And the husband, the one each one of us chose to marry, carries the grace to lead. Not you, not me. That's how God ordered it. And believe me, it's in order to save us women. By nature, women are more inclined to be spiritual than men. We are discovering in the church today that many wives and mothers have been thrust into the role of leadership in their families. Please let us always remember that this is an aberration of the divine order. God ordained that a man should lead his family. A woman occupying that role of leadership, and by the way, it's happening more frequently today, must be seen as a temporary arrangement. Order is of utmost importance in God's kingdom. So women, we must do everything within our power to follow due order. And men, please rise to the challenge. Maybe your wife is older than you are in the faith. Maybe she knows the word more, but that should necessarily create a drive in you to learn, catch up, and step further. No family has excuses for that being their reality. Please, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. I hope we've all been blessed by this 7-part series. See you all next Friday with a brand new question for the next episode. Do have a fabulous weekend. Shalom.